Steve's no-impact lands, or NILs, are one of the most important pieces of Steve tech to learn, but given its difficulty compared to, well, everything else, they're left largely ignored by most players. However, when mastered, it can turn Steve into a touch of death god that, unlike pick loops, STI cannot guarantee an escape out of. Today, we'll be going over the main variations of no-impact lands, including NIL 1, 2, 3, and 4, different combo routes, 0 to deaths, kill confirms, as well as miscellaneous NILs such as NIL from platforms and other options. And as always, if you're only interested in certain sections, there will be timestamps in the description of the different NILs, but I encourage you to see the video the whole way through as there may be things you don't know about even the simplest no-impact lands. So to start off, let's go over the terminology and some basics. Once again, NIL stands for No Impact Land, which basically means you land without lag, and for the rest of this video, we'll be referring to them as NILs. Normally, when you land on the ground or a block, a little smoke effect plays underneath you, but when you get a NIL, this smoke effect doesn't happen, so use this as an indicator for when you do hit a NIL. Now earlier on, I mentioned NIL 1, 2, 3, 4, and others, and the way you can tell what NIL you got is how many blocks high you did a NIL from. Let's look here. This right here would be considered a NIL 4, because the NIL was hit 4 blocks high. This next one would be considered a NIL 2, because it was too high from the ground. Now this next one would still be a NIL 2, as even though yes, it is 4 blocks high, it was only 2 blocks from where you were standing. Be sure to remember this, as when we talk about different combo routes, it's going to be really important. With that out of the way, let's go over the 2 most common and simple NILs that every Steve should know, even when starting to pick up the character, those being NIL 1 and NIL 4. NIL 1 is very easy to do. All you need to do is short hop, and then at the peak of your jump, press B to land on top of it. You can short hop with tapping the jump button lightly or pressing 2 jump buttons at the same time, but it's important to get this down. You'll mainly be using NIL 1 in order to build walls more precisely or to extend combos for a little bit more percent. Likewise, sometimes just adding a NIL 1 to a combo can be just enough to get a kill in a range where you wouldn't be able to otherwise. They can also open up new kill confirms, one of which that I love is Sword Fair or Sword Bear into forward smash. Now, when you do an up air, nair, Sword Fair, or Sword Bear from a short hop, holding the B button down buffers the block plays, and with the Sword Fair or Sword Bear, it can combo into forward smash. It works the most consistently with gold tools, but both iron and diamond tools work solidly with this as well. And as for NIL 1, there isn't really too much else. Simple, like I said. But its best strength will be shown when you combine them with other NILs, such as NIL 4. So NIL 4 is a fairly simple one to get down, but it requires a little bit more out of you. To get a NIL 4, all you need to do is full hop, and then at the peak of your jump, double jump, and at the peak of that, press V. The big mistakes that people make when starting off with NIL 4 is that they either double jump at the wrong time or place a block at the wrong time. The timings are both fairly lenient, however, so it shouldn't be too hard to get with a little bit of practice. NIL 4 is essentially your bread and butter combo starter, done with up tilts as it can rack up a lot of damage and can even be extended further with NIL 1. One very big thing to remember is that if you're doing NILs and combos or happen to hit your opponent, the timings of your NILs will slightly change due to the added hit stun. The best way to get consistent with this is practice, and I recommend trying to do NILs with and without hitting people. Now that the first 2 are done, let's get to the more complicated no-impact land setups, NIL 2 and NIL 3. NIL 2 is one of the most essential NIL combos to learn if you really want to push Steve's combo game. However, the reason why it's so difficult is that the frame data changes between your double jump timings. Let me explain. So here, I'll do a short hop and double jump on frame 1 of being airborne. Then, on frame 12 of being airborne, I'll press B to place a block, and I get a NIL 2. Now here, I'll do a full hop instead of a short hop. Double jump on frame 7 of being airborne, and then press B on frame 8, and I also get a NIL 2. The frame date of NIL 2 changes depending on both doing a short hop or full hop, and when you double jump. Now in the description, I'll have a Google Doc linked for both NIL 2 and NIL 3 frame data to hopefully help you out. But if you want the simple version, the most consistent way to land a NIL 2 is to full hop, and then on frame 7 or frame 8, press both double jump and be on the same frame. Essentially a 2-frame window. Now for the next complicated part. Buffering NILs out of an up tilt changes the frame data for it. Yeah, I don't get it either. Anyways, if you were to land an up tilt and then buffer a NIL 2, then you need to do the double jump and press B on frame 9 or 10 instead of 7 or 8. Now, unless you're practicing buffers, the best option to do is to just wait a bit after your up tilt and then do a NIL 2, which keeps the same timing as before, but it's good to keep this in mind just in case you realize you're making a lot of mistakes, even when you think you're doing it right. Now that the boring information is out of the way, how exactly do we apply NIL 2? Well, having a block in the second layer by itself has its own benefits, as it prevents a lot of projectiles from reaching you, but it also allows for much more movement options as well as attack options. From NIL 2 to craft on platforms, to movement for landing kills, to insane combo games, there really is no limit to NIL 2's potential. Here's a compilation of various things you can do with NIL 2. I'd recommend practicing as many of them as you can. One extra thing that's really good with NIL 2 is learning how to do it after a block breaks. As always, the timing will change depending on when you double jump, but the safest bet is to start timing B around the same height to get it to work. The final primary NIL setup will be NIL 3, and it can be argued to be the most important NIL setup to learn. Yes, even better than NIL 2. Let me explain. So, NIL 3 can be done in both a full hop and a short hop, but for the purposes of this guide we'll be focused on the full hop method, as the short hop NIL 3 method doesn't really give you anything special. Now, doing a NIL 3 isn't as definitive as NIL 2, since you can't press jump and B on the same frame to get a NIL 3. Now, if you double jump starting on frame 13, you need to press B 5 frames after in order to land a NIL 3. This 5 frame timing difference lasts for a while. Even if you double jump on frame 24, pressing B on frame 29, 5 frames later, will get you a NIL 3. Now, from frame 16 through 21, you actually have a 2 frame window to press B for a NIL 3. So do your best in order to get them in this timing window for the most consistency. Now, NIL 3 is extremely useful for 2 big reasons. The first one being that it can be done off of a rising up air, which opens an insane amount of combo potential and lets you combo people from going over your walls, getting an up air read in neutral, guaranteeing easy ways to get combos 7 blocks high with NIL 4, and the best part, it comes with its own failsafe. NIL 3 requires you to up air, so if you happen to miss a NIL 3, go for another. Yes, NIL 3 comes with its own failsafe. But the best part is that it's a failsafe for all NILs. Miss a NIL 2, use a NIL 3 to cover your tracks. Somehow miss a NIL 1, it covers that too. And adding on to the rising up air usage, if there's ever a time where you go for a NIL combo and up tilt is just barely out of reach, NIL 3 will help you pick up that combo and more. And if it couldn't get any better, they set up perfectly for platform combos. And don't worry, we'll go over how to do NILs off of platforms in just a bit. Overall, NIL 3 is just one of the best and most underused NILs that Steve has, and so I'm hoping that soon more teams can start using it in their gameplay. Now, time for the platform NILs. We'll start off with the simple ones. On Battlefield and Small Battlefield, you can do a NIL on the side platforms by inputting a full hop and then pressing B right before the peak of the jump. On frames 5, 6, 7, and 8 to be exact. A full 4 frame window. If you ever catch your opponent on a platform, this type of NIL is perfect and sets up very well for some quick kills. In regards to the top Battlefield platform, you need to go for a full hop and then press special exactly on frame 2 of being airborne. Now this NIL is extremely tight since it's a 1 frame window, and chances are you won't really be using it too often, but hey, it's good to know regardless. Likewise, what's also good to know is that Battlefield has a 7 block high grid as opposed to the traditional 6 on most legal stages, so be sure to use this to your advantage. On Smashville, it's basically exactly like NIL 1, where you just need a short hop and then place a block. Simple as that. On Pokemon Stadium 2, it's the exact same as the top platform of Battlefield. You need to do a full hop, and then on frame 2 of being airborne, press B. On Kalos, the side platforms are exactly 3 blocks high, meaning that the NIL 1, 2, and 3 timings are exactly the same as the ones on the ground. Now, Town and City has a lot of different platform layouts, so let's go over each of them. Now, training mode doesn't let me turn off hazards, but the NIL timings I list are for the hazards off versions regardless. So for the main layout, the side platforms, you need to do a short hop and then press B on frames 2, 3, or 4 of being airborne. The main layout's middle platform needs you to full hop and then press B on frame 2, the same as the top Battlefield platform. And finally, for the second platform layouts, you need to either full hop and press B on the first frame of being airborne, or do a short hop B press exactly the same as you would with a NIL 1. One more thing to note is that Town and City also has a 7 block high grid similar to Battlefield and Yoshi's. However, the blocks break faster on the top layer, so when going for combos high on the stage, be sure to jump after the 7th layer instead of doing an up smash. On Hollow Bastion, you need to full hop and then press B on frame 4, 5, or 6 of being airborne. From there, you get to NIL from the platform and get your kill confirms. And lastly, on Yoshi's Story, the side platforms are the exact same timing as the floor for a NIL. Just do a short hop and then press B at the peak of your jump. As for the top platform, it's the same thing except you need to press B 2 frames faster than normal off of a short hop, given that the platform spacing is ever so slightly off. And to finish this off, here's a compilation of some of the best NIL combos to go for both in practice and in real matches. Definitely be sure to give these a try, as having a Steve with this level of punish game can arguably be unstoppable. And that about does it for the video. This was a long time in the making, so feel free to share with others who need help with their NIL combos. Also, for those who don't know, I currently do one-on-one coaching through Medify, so if you're interested in getting professional coaching with any character, not just Steve, consider booking a session. The link for my page will be in the description. And with that out of the way, hope you all enjoyed.